Welcome everyone. I call this video here the what's next for the channel, or probably more realistic, too many games, not enough time. So if you have been following my channel, I've pretty much got I'm trying to maintain two threads. One thread is Traveler. I'm doing a campaign series, but it's kind of bogged down into looking at all the resources and trying to bring them all together. But I'm hoping here shortly to re-engage with my Scout Solo campaign. So hopefully you'll see the next video I'll post will be their further adventures as that goes. But then my other thread has been obviously some good old-fashioned hex and counter wargaming here. And I just did complete my playthrough of the Clairvaux scenario of a spy, SPI Classic I would call it, from 1978 Battle for the Ardennes. Solid game, and I would look forward to revisiting it. Maybe in May I'll do Sedan. They have a scenario in a campaign game for May 40 Sedan. It was fought on the same battlefield, so maybe coming back to that. But I am now left with the question of what should I do next, and as I was putting this together, I feel like I've almost mapped out the next 6 months, or I don't know if it's a whole year, but just thought I'd run this by everybody, get a little feedback if possible, because there are a number of choices I'm leaning towards, but appreciate your feedback, or at least give you an idea of where I'm going. So the first thing that was on my plate, amongst other things, was Against the Odds. They just came out with, well, they didn't just come out with, but they recently redid Bradley's D-Day. John Prados, who's recently passed away. I've got a number of his recent stuff. So I had already done a unboxing, I guess you'd call it. Both of picked up Bradley's and Monty's D-Day. That's the earlier campaign study that ATO did. And you can combine the two. But what I was thinking of was at least starting with Monty's D-Day and see where it takes. This game only covers the first 2 days of Normandy, the initial pretty much invasion. I'm not seeing a scale here, but I'm guessing it down to battalion level. And actually, if I did choose this, I've got a book I can follow. I don't have that up right now, but I'll pull that up here. Hold on. Yeah, here was, I found he did a book on, I think he called it Snow and Steel, on the Ardennes, and then he also did a book on Sand and Steel, relatively recent. Does cover the whole liberation of France, but at least starting out with the invasion, that's something I like to follow. So, I always like to have a book that I can read along the side. And then I'll talk about it later, but Wargame Design Studio, well, here they are over here. Oops. Here they are. They actually have they have a Normandy 44 Panzer campaign. But better yet, they also have a Panzer Battles version too. I don't see it here. Yeah, so for the initial invasion, though, if we looked at Panzer Battles, there it is. Yep, Normandy 44, and that's on a lower level too. So, kind of sometimes like to do this in parallel. They've at least got the 6th, 14 scenarios, and then some counterattack scenarios, I think the first 2 days. So there's something I can do in parallel there. So that was the first one, to explore this system and see how it runs. So that would be my first choice. The other one that piqued my interest was the whole, I recently picked up A Victory Awaits, and you can see I did an unboxing here. Somebody's done some play here, but I wanted to get into this if possible. I was actually going to start with this, A Victory Denied Crisis at Smolensk. And then once again, I do have even a book for that to follow along, and a Wargame Design Studio Panzer campaign. They have Smolensk 41, so I could kind of run that in parallel too. But I want to kind of maybe get into this game and there's already a Vassal mod, and there's already a Vassal mod for these two, so that's solid. And then maybe use that as a lead-in to get into this one, Victory Awaits. And there is a Vassal mod for this. You have to go get the Japanese version from the original publisher. And I'm not terribly happy. I think they created the graphics for it instead of using what I would consider these very nice MMP graphics. So I was considering even backfitting that Vassal mod with the maps and maybe even the counters, but at least the maps. That's not too hard to do for a Vassal mod if you scaled it right. Maybe the counters for later. But I'd use the Victory Denied to get going. Somebody's already done some stuff here too. And then hopefully that would lead me into a Victory Awaits. So those were kind of the big two I was looking at right now. I haven't decided which one to go with. Moving beyond that, the whole solo, I've got a bunch of Dan Versen games. Solo, you can't get Vassal mod. You have to buy the Vassal mods, and the things I would be interested in Spruance Leader, there isn't one for that. But I do have Vassal mods, I believe, for Zero Leader, Corsair Leader, Hornet Leader, even B-17 Campaign 1. But a new thing I recently picked up too that popped on the radar for people is Skyhawk Rolling Thunder from Legion Games. And there is a Vassal mod out for this. Pretty cool. There's been a few playthroughs, but still, I would be interested in playing through this one if I had to right now pick a solo one. I've got Kickstarter for Stuka Leader also that is coming out from Dan Versen Games, but again, I don't expect them to come out with a Vassal mod anytime soon, so that would probably be a revisiting there. So that's kind of number 3, number 4, who knows, it depends on how these go. And then I'm going to jump over here, there isn't always an Napoleonics. I did an unboxing for this, basically reselling. I think they found old versions of it and they shipped it off. And this is an entry point game for the Labatt series. So from the Napoleonics point of view, I'd look at this to get into the Labatille series, Labatille Day, and I'll butcher the French. So there is this to get into, which hopefully is approachable now. And then there's always Library of Napoleonic Battles. I've got a number of these. So I would probably look at something from Napoleon against Russia to come back into this one and try it out. The other series I did pick up is from Legion War Games. I don't know why I don't have that up. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. I picked up, actually, coming out of Christmas, I picked up all 3 of them. They have one on Quatre Bras, and they have it called I Can't Do French, Troy Batia de Alamague, whatever. And supposedly this is the entry level one too. I have all 3 of them. So I'm tempted also to take a look at this, although there's been a lot of coverage of it here. So that's another Napoleonic that I could throw in the mix. That gives me Library of Napoleonic Battles, Labatille entry level. I think they call it Viva la Empereur, this series they have. Regimental size, yeah, could look at that. All of these, once again, Wargame Design Studio, I've pretty much got a whole bunch of Napoleonic games there that I could back up. So there's those 3. And then obviously there is Beyond Waterloo. They don't have a recent Vassal mod for it. And I even did a unboxing for that. I think that's what it's called. See if I get lucky. Yep, there we go. Yep, and yep, there's my unboxing, the new 2nd edition. I don't think this is solo friendly, and the Vassal mod may be out of date, but again, there's a number of things here, and I've got the beta version of the computer version of the Avalon Hill original I'm brain dumping the name of it now. So I'm looking at these. Yeah, I'd be tempted by this one just to get into the La Patille system. And I'd love to get back to one of these, Napoleon against Russia. And I'd have to evaluate this one, both the vassal module and the ability to play solo there. So there's that Napoleonics coverage. Now, two other things I just throw in because I'm getting them, actually, hopefully tomorrow. I did finally, I've got the Kharkov add-on to this. And luckily now I was able to snag Fall Blau from Compass Games. I know it's, you could say, what about Stalingrad 42? And I've got the add-on for that too from GMT Games, Simonson series. But this is the variable one, Victory in the West system, I think they call it. I've got all the Spy Magazine games for that. So, and this one does have a vassal mod, so I would be tempted to get this one in the queue or get it going at some point. There is actually the Victory series. If you go back to the original designer of them, he actually made a Victory rules set. You can get the Japanese version if you go to the website here. I think I showed it in another review. You can pull down the Japanese vassal and even get the English rules. But there's some openings here. My historical interest of recent has been pretty much 41, 42. World War II and Fall Blau was a big one. So I'd be tempted to get into this because this system, Victory in the West, I haven't played it. So that could be very interesting to do. The other game I've got coming in the mail is SCS North Africa, which from what I understand is a simplified version of I don't know if it was DAC or there's an OCS one they had. And it's got good reviews, and I've got a number of things in the SCS system. So I'd be real tempted. This would get my North Africa going here. And again, WDS, Wargame Design Studio. I've pretty much got Tobruk and El Alamein, which covers the entire battles in North Africa. I haven't picked up the Tunisia 43 one yet. So these two are coming in the mail here. So that's pretty much a full schedule if you think about it. From a wargame point of view, so I was thinking, here's Monty's D-Day, Bradley's D-Day, the Victory series, got some good stuff. Here's at least one solo Skyhawk I'd look at. I've got Napoleonics here, Labatt, TLNB, Viva la Emperor, and I don't know about Beyond Waterloo. That's more operational than tactical. And like I said, I got these two, and it doesn't include some other games I've recently got. So yeah, I guess my initial decision is between a Victory Denied or Monty's D-Day. And then there is, which I haven't started, kind of played around with earlier, a video game stream. So, and I've got a full-time job, so it's not like I can crank out everything. But I've picked up a lot of the SGS systems here, Strategy Gaming Studio. And they've got a number of games they've put out, similar systems. So if you learn one, you start getting familiar with the other. You see here, oh, I didn't even know they had this. SGS Fall Blau. Holy smoke, learn something new every day. Map editor, when was my... It's not listed here though. I guess we'll cover the Battle of Stalingrad itself. Okay, this is coming out. That's something to look forward to. They got Afrika Korps. Interesting campaign here. German East African World War I campaign. I have that. This is another new one. Indochina, France. Interesting. Cool. Got Halls of Montezuma. Here's another one in their pipe coming out. China Civil War, I believe. They've got one on the Winter War. This is another new one that's coming out for Poland. I think I've got Tunisia. I didn't pick up Hawaii. That's hypothetical, obviously. I got this one, the Pacific D-Days, and then I didn't pick up this one. I did pick up Korean War, so I've got that, and I got Operation Downfall, Invasion. I think they do both. Yeah, Olympic and Coronet. NATO's Nightmare. I'm looking forward to when that comes out using a similar system. They did one just on Okinawa, and this is kind of an entry-level one too. SGS Glory Recalled, Singapore, Battle of Hong Kong. Why am I mixing this up? Hong Kong. Whew. I think the video should be over the way I'm pronouncing these words. So this is definitely a system I want to get into. There's some good videos uh, out there, put out by, yeah, for example, he did one on, this is Zilla Blitz. He's got a lot of viewers. But he did some on this, he did Pacific D-Days, and then the company has a bunch of good videos out there on their games. Wow, I'm looking better. Didn't even know they had this coming out until I reviewed this. So I'd love to get into this to understand their system here. So there's SGS, if I restarted a video game stream. And then of course there is, I mean, you can't go wrong with Wargame Design Studio or John Tiller. I'm pretty much invested in pretty much all of these. They've got some good stuff in naval campaigns. I was actually a brief playtester for Kriegsmarine. I think I posted 2 videos for that. Right now, though, I'm kind of drawn to Panzer Battles, Panzer campaigns, but I mean, Squad Battles is pretty cool too. And again, if I had time, I could parallel a lot of these board games with what's going on here. So there's always that. And then the other one, which I probably won't video, but it seems to be the big thing right about now, is Microprose's Second Front. Just came out a week, I guess, ago, ended January. And there's a lot of videos going up about this, and it's from what I've gathered from the reviews, it's a very close to ASL kind of game here, tactical combat, which I'd probably like to get into when I make videos about it. I don't know, mainly because right now everybody's making videos about this one, but I mean, this looks promising because also it's got a map editor, it's got people making their own scenarios, so I definitely want to take a look at this, especially the parallels with ASL. So, yeah, from a video game, that's what I'm looking at. I've dabbled with some flight simulators. I'm probably never going to put videos up for that because I'm better doing flight simulators on a board than I am with a joystick. That would be embarrassing. But actually, speaking of that, though, I stumbled across, and this is something else I may want to put up, out on Wargame Vault, OTM Games, and I've skimmed them. The rules look pretty detailed, but this guy has put out a rule set for air combat, and it's not an overly simplified one. It's hex-based miniature, but again, I look at both of these, and I've got Vassal mods I could use for this. Air Force Dauntless from Avalon Hills out there. Fighting Wings series, they've all got solid Vassal mods that I could try this out with. And then he's even created one here with Modern Jet Combat. And again, there's Vassal mods for that specifically. Yeah, the old GDW Air Superiority and Airstrike would easily handle these two, and I've been poking around these rules. Maybe I'll do a review at some point if I get close to wanting to probably start with this one and see how it plays out. A number of months back, I got involved with online play of Fighting Wings, the simplified one that came out with a new, I forgot the name of their new one. It came out ATO also. They reprinted the one about that Finnish war. It was a beautiful reprint. So I started playing online. Pretty involved. I don't know, I can look at these and see how they play out too. I'm definitely tempted by these to take a look and see if they are pretty good or not. And you can't beat free right now, so if you go to Wargame Vault and look this up, you can bag both of these for free. Um, then the other thing I'm just going to show on Wargame Vault, but this has been an old uh, Starfire. If you go to my blog site, I've got some old posts of played, I think, 2 or 3 scenarios that I did AARs on. And I've kind of been wrestling back and forth with my Traveler campaign, trying to decide what. I mean, I've got a number of choices for Starship Combat. And then it popped in my head because this finally came out. This is the latest edition. They finally put it on Wargame Vault. I'm drawn. Well, I like the classic, the version 3 rules, but version 1 was too easy. But then, was when they first came out. But then this version 2 rules are good. And if you look at what I've posted on my blog site, that's kind of what I used. But they also, this is the absolute latest version, Solar Starfire, they call it. Yeah, it's not that. I think this version is 2013. But they do say they're going to come out with a new version here. So, I already have this. I bought this from them separately years ago. So once they do come up with a 2023 reprint, I may look at this for the tactical. And then I've got a Stars at War for all the different races in the battle. They had a number of add-ons for the 3rd edition stuff. Here's some free quick start rules. There's Solar Spire. There's the second here. Here's the 3rd edition, which some people think is the best set. Right here. This was the 1st edition. This is where it changed hands. Here it was being published. Task Force Games was still owning it there. These are good rules. And then they had these add-ons, 4th Interstellar War, Gorn Connie, Stars at War. I'm kind of tempted, and they got Starship build rules. And maybe, I don't know if I can pull it off, but if I do get into space combat with my Traveler campaign, actually, I may somehow morph this into it. Leveraging these rules. I've always wanted to, space the GMT game, or there's another game by, let me look it up real quick. Yeah, actually not Space Empires. I'd love to get into that. I've got pretty much all of that too, but this is a little more simplified one. Imperial Stars 2 came out from the previous Victory Point games, not what they've become. And I do have this, and actually use this as an entry point to create. That was what I first thought of, to create, combats in here. But then I'm thinking also, because I like Starfire, I'm an old hex and counter kind of person, so I'd be tempted to try and use this as my combat system, especially depending on where the whole campaign goes. So looking at that too. Yeah, so that's pretty full plate there. And the other things I'm doing, well, I did do a video a while back on how to start building a Vassal mod, but I never got around to it. I think I did it with Island of Death, Invasion of Malta from people who make Panzer, Avalanche Press, which I'd be interested in trying, although I see Legion Wargames is coming out with a new version of, Invasion of Malta. And of course, WDS. I've got a version of that I can do in Panzer campaigns. But I'd still have to scan the counters, clip the counters, etc. But the pocket games I got from Beyond Waterloo, a bunch of them from ATO, that would be thinking of revisiting, and that would be a perfect all-in-one, scan it, clip it, and build the module all in one video. So I'm tempted to do that, to kind of do that demo Vassal I started later. Yeah, so that's all the stuff on the videos I want to do. I'm working stuff behind the scenes. I do build Vassal modules. I'm in the middle of building modules for White Dog Games, for one of their games that's coming out here real soon. And I do build Vassal mods for about to come out Decision Games, one of their magazine games. They have basically farmed that out and have people make Vassal mods for the playtesters. So I just finished one and I'm starting another one here once I get the White Dog game one behind me. And I am actually involved in some play testing and even development. Yeah, I was able to slip on board with the Spearhead play testing, Compass Games, Aaron Armour. Um, got my training session online about a week ago, and it's cool and it's definitely different. So it's gonna take some wrestling with to get my arms around, but the system looks solid, and I'm looking forward to doing that and doing some stuff also in the Rifles series for. I think it's Tiny Battle or Flying Pig. I don't know which one it falls under. So that's also, and then of course I do have a full-time job and I teach in the evenings. So I think I've defined my year. But enough of that. If you've held on this long in my rambling, thank you very much. Comments I'd greatly appreciate. But like I said, initially yeah, there's my website. Just finished Battle for the Ardennes. Good game. So I'm wrestling between, I guess initially out of the box, Monty's D-Day or A Victory Denied, to use that as an entry point into A Victory Awaits. And then I've got, these other things. Solo play, maybe Skyhawk. I got these new games coming in. Napoleonic's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, never go wrong with Wargame Design Studio, or I definitely want to get into this one. I do want to dabble with Second Front, but I don't think I'll video on it. There's enough out there. And I think that's it. Yeah, I talked about that. Yeah, that's interesting. Comments on that. Some Flight Simulator here. Um, Playing those out too. So anyway, that should be enough. I've gone, holy smoke. I've gone 26 minutes. So yeah, if you made it this far, holy smoke. But those are some of the things on my plate I'm thinking about, I'm wrestling with. Your comments are appreciated. Any ideas, any comments on what I've shown you here, that would be great. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe, and I'm hoping the next video out of the box will be revisiting our crew of the Intrepid as they supposedly depart the system and head home, but who knows what could happen on the way. So anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next recording.